El Camino, a Breaking Bad movie. Welcome back to the channel, Methods. Let's get this ball rolling, shall we? El Camino, a Breaking Bad movie, is based on the aftermath of Netflix original TV series Breaking Bad. We follow Jesse Pinkman, who escapes Jack and his gang. With the police hot on his heels, Jesse ventures and seeks for a resemblance of hope within his flawed life. So, woo! Now, guys. Oh, and just to add on to that, Vince Gilligan is known for writing Better Call Saul, Breaking Bad. He was the creator. Hancock, he's also written. And what else? And also written the X-Files. So, Vince Gilligan. Now, I have more positives than negatives to say about this film. It kind of felt to me a little bit of a mixed bag. And I'm sure that all the Breaking Bad fans have caved to giving great reviews and good on for them. I mean, I've been the biggest Breaking Bad fan since sliced bread, to be honest with you. But yeah, let's kind of get into these negatives. So, one of my first discrepancies that I have with this film is the pacing. Very oddly, I found myself in certain moments sighing to myself. You know when a film's kind of dragging on, and it's that kind of unsubconscious sigh that you do to yourself when you know that you want the film to pick up the pace. And where these pacing issues come from for me is when we transition to a certain how do you say this without spoiling it? A certain antagonist that's in the film that we spend a majority of the time with in the first act with. And I felt like there was certain decisions and certain decision making that when it came to this particular villain, just choices that wholeheartedly didn't need to be there. And it felt like there was there was like a lot of meandering. And for me, it was taking away the symbolism and the theme of what a Breaking Bad film is, or a TV show rather. So those are one of my negatives there. The pacing felt a little bit off. And this might come to a shock to a few people. I felt that Skinny Pete and Badger were underused and slightly underplayed as well, in my opinion. I mean, for the time that they are on the screen, they are brilliant. They are great. They know their characterization in and out. They know what performance that they're giving. They know their source material, and I wanted to see a little bit more of them, if that can make any sense. Another negative that I have with El Camino is there are like these transitions between night and day, and it's like this hyper real time lapse. And to me, it doesn't look film quality in my eyes. It looks like something that's come out of something on YouTube on a vlog when somebody's wanted to do a time lapse to create clever editing. And that style to me doesn't really appeal to film. It's like I can imagine that type of style in like a rom-com, or like a rom-com, or it's like a crazy exuberant story with a group of friends and they're all on a night out or something. But I don't see it for a drama, thriller, crime story. I just don't think that fits within the character of that type of film. But yeah, I guess I guess let's now get on to the positives. Now, Aaron Paul is great in this film. He completely. I mean, you would have. I mean, you would have thought the time that he had had off from Breaking Bad that he might have been succumbed to being a little bit rusty, not knowing the character. But as soon as he got back into them boots, he knew exactly what he was doing, which was great. This story is a first person narrative, and to me, I enjoy those type of stories when you're following this character on their journey, and it also adds in great effect if you've got a filmmaker that's asking the question of what is it that character needs, but what is it they really want. And if you've got a filmmaker that can answer that question, you will at least have a very decent film on your hands. I also think for Jesse, what makes El Camino a good film is that there is this physical and emotional change within his character. There's a very distinct difference between this Jesse in this film compared to what he was like in the series. And, he kind of, just based on the journey that he's been on and just how flawed he is, it's really, in a way, it's actually quite heartbreaking to see him, the shell of the person that he once used to be. There was, in Breaking Bad, there was like this kind of sense of youthful and innocence about him, and it feels like in this film that has been completely stripped away from him to the bare bone, and he's this defeated man that can't really catch a break in his life, and that was heartbreaking. They also use a good sense of non-linear storytelling, as to what is in the past, what is in the future, and sometimes you can confuse an audience with that type of style, but Vince Gilligan used it very well. I also liked Vince Gilligan's sense of, I love his relationship that he can have with cinematographer. Like, he's very canny and he's very on point and very professional when it comes to focus and blur. When to have an insert shot, when to make an image clear and things like that. A lot of landscape shots to make you kind of fall in love with the atmosphere that he's presenting to the audience. So, and another positive I have for this is the fan service. When I say fan service, and this is it completely comes with no context, but when I say fan service, there is obviously Easter eggs to other episodes and therefore after, without giving anything away if you have not seen El Camino, a Breaking Bad movie. But I feel like where Vince Gilligan really works his audience and really wins them over is his brilliant sense of contrast between how different can he make one character from another. And then in these scenes, he builds this amplified tension with conflict. And he is an absolute master at that. I mean, that is vintage Vince Gilligan, and his conflict just makes you just shake with anxiety in a really good way through these really tense scenes, especially the last 15 minutes of this film. You're just thinking, what on earth is going to happen? So on the whole, to conclude, El Camino, a Breaking Bad movie, the score that I will give for this film will be a 7.8. It's a very good film with some flaws here and there, and I will say this: the ending is it was very satisfying, the ending for me. It was very good. Few problems here and there, but on the whole, this is a very good film. And I'll tell you this, just for a heads up for any fans of Vince Gilligan, he will be doing a show called Raven. He will be writing it. I can't announce who the director is because I forgot, sadly. But what I know is that the show that is in development is called Raven, and it's based on the Reverend Jim Jones. For all of you that are watching this, that were part of my FD Year 2, my BA, my FD Year 2, you know exactly what that means. What's wrong with Jim Boy? And I can't wait to see what he does with that. But yeah, guys, put your comments down below. What did you think of El Camino, Breaking Bad movie? And I'll see you in the next one. Like, comment, subscribe. See you in the next one.